and may be hard for some viewers to watch.
What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we get now. So you see the title of the broadcast here. Listen, look, man, this is the thing here. I got two young ladies that are going to try to explain their dynamics with having children outside of marriages, probably with not the proper, backing of maybe family structure, things like that, which is needed to actually, rear children. You need your family elders and stuff like that to help you, rear the future and stuff like that. And that's what families used to entail. But listen, look, man, we're going to go here now. We're going to check this thing out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
I'm 25 years old with a 1 year old, and all I can say is seriously be careful who you have kids by. An immature baby daddy can set you back. An immature baby daddy can bring you unnecessary stress. An immature baby daddy can stop you from who you are to become. When I tell you if I could go back, I would have ran. I would have ran. No, I do not regret having my daughter, but I do regret the person that I had her with.
Okay, so to actually speak upon what she just said right then, and this is the thing here, and this is what a lot of people don't understand about, when you have children and bloodlines and things like that. When you have children, the DNA is the DNA. And what I'm trying to explain to everybody out here is that let's say let's just break this down, okay? If you, whoever you are out there or whatever, if you have your child with whoever you have your child with, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's, say the woman that you have your child with or the man that you have your child with, you know what I'm saying? That specific DNA that y'all came together and made only makes that specific person. So if you have sex with another woman or a woman has sex with another man, those opposites can't make that specific child like you two come together. Let's say John and Sarah had sex with each other and they made a baby. That's John and Sarah's baby. Okay. Those two DNAs came together and they made that specific human being. So if John and Sarah never met and John made it with a different woman and Sarah made it with a different man, that child that exists will never exist.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
You have to think deep. Let's put our thinking cap on here, people. This is the honest to God's truth. DNA matters. So for these women to get out here and sit around here talking about, this and that. Yeah, she said that she doesn't regret, having her child. I get that. But I'm saying, though, too, what we need to start understanding is how DNA really works. If two individuals get together, they make that specific individual human being. Even if they decide to be in marriages and they multiply, each child is different from the other child, even though the DNA is still in the same realm. But all I'm saying is, though, when women are out here having children by multiple different men, that child is different. It's the father's DNA that leads the point. And at the same time, though, too, that's the reason why if you see a woman that has multiple children by different men, those children do look totally different. They look totally different if you paying attention.
When I tell you, I feel like I set myself up for failure. I felt like that, and I felt like that for a long time. Until one day, I decided to say, you know what? The only person that can dig herself out of this hole is myself. All I can
True.
say is If you can avoid pregnancy, do it, especially if you're young. Venture off. Make sure the man really loves you, but also make sure the man has qualities and he's showing you qualities that he can be a good father.
Okay, so what happened to everybody requiring marriage? Now, this is the thing here. To be attached, to be legally, well, in today's society legally, but growing up in traditional households, which is lost now, and this is the factor here, which everybody don't, we're trying to escape these points that leads up to actually having good communities and everything like that. The point that's being escaped is to have the union and the structure and the glue to tie everybody together to where the family can thrive and the children are growing up in decent households to be productive citizens. Now, what I'm saying, yes, she's saying you need to, basically she's saying you need to vet. But the problem is here is that, throughout history, the fathers or brothers, whatever, if it has to happen, if the father's gone. But the thing of this is the men in women's family used to vet the other men on the outside to make sure that they, were no bad blood being introduced into their bloodlines.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
And this is something that's not talked about a lot. I get it, because at the end of the day, though, everybody doesn't see this way, but you can introduce bad blood into your bloodline. And it's always been this way. The bloodline of, us having children upon this planet and things like that, is also conducive to having, people that are born that, are decent people and stuff like that if they come from a certain bloodline. It just is what it is.
Being a single mom ain't for the weak. It's not easy, no matter how much is glamorized. It is very difficult raising a child, and it's even more difficult when you're young and unstable. It's harder to go to school, it's harder to work, it's harder to do everything because you now have a child that depends on you. When I tell y'all, run from the stars, from these toxic men, and do not let them impregnate you, run.
Now, and see, that's the idiocy that's going on in today's society, that, what I'm saying, a lot of women don't have the proper family dynamics around them to vet the men that come into their lives. And due to the fact of the way the society's going, and women have been promoted to make sure that they, make their own choices and things like that, it's also that, they don't want the guidance of the men in their family, if they do have men in their family that are actually willing to put in their quarters, nickels, and dimes out here. I'm just being honest. Now, I get it, in today's society, a lot of young women don't have men in their lives consistently to put in those aspects and stuff like that, because everything's so screwed up. But this is where a lot of our young women are at, and they are trying to pick and choose for themselves, but they don't understand the dynamics and the mindset of men. And they're out here dealing with a false narrative of what masculinity is, and it's been screwed up for the longest here. Seriously.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
And it's sad to see. It's sad to see, but this is where we at out here in today's society. So we're gonna go here now, and we're gonna hear what this other young lady had to say about the situation, and it's cringe. Let's go here now.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are thinking about getting an abortion, if you feel like you need an abortion, if you think that abortion is going to be the best thing for you, you need to get an abortion. I don't care who say they're going to be there for you. I don't care what type of help people think they're going to give you. abortion. If that's what's in your heart, if that's what's in your head, I don't care about your religion. I don't care how bad it hurts. I am telling you, get that fucking abortion. There is no fucking help out here, G. There is no help. I don't give a fuck. I don't even care about the comments that y'all leave. I swear to God, I don't. I swear. I am so fucking tired. I have never been this fucking tired in my life. I have been depressed before. I've been suicidal before. Hell, I done had suicide attempts before. I've never been this tired in my life. I just want to give up so fucking bad. Get that fucking abortion. If you feel you need that fucking abortion, get that fucking abortion. Because when you are asked out, you have no fucking help. And you have depleted, you have asked everybody, you have went to every corner, you've done everything. Gee, I am fucking working. I make good money. I am not a fucking bum. Get that fucking abortion. If you think you need that abortion. I love my baby so much. And I do not regret having him. But I feel so fucked up for bringing him into this fucking world. This piss poor ass fucking world with these cruel ass people and this shitty ass economy. I don't know why the things happened that led me here. I don't know. I don't know why they took my place away. I don't know why they threw my things out of my apartment and I was paying my rent. I don't know why that shit was done to me 2 months after having a C-section. I don't know. I have been praying. I have been letting go. I have been walking away. I have been doing the hard work. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. And I don't want my baby hearing this bullshit. Get the fucking abortion. It's
No.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
No. Please do not do a AB. That's Jesus Christ, man. Innocent life is the worst thing that can be spilt upon this planet. And I'm gonna tell you something. Like, if you ever remember the story of King Herod, hold on here. If you ever remember the story of King Herod, you know what I'm saying? King Herod was the king that, felt threatened by Jesus' birth. And, we're going to go here now. And this is just for a second, you know what I'm saying? And he sent out his legions and stuff like that to eliminate the firstborns of Jerusalem. And they took, quote unquote, the baby Jesus up out of Jerusalem, things like that. And you know what I'm saying, he was able to escape that predicament. But you know what I'm saying, the thing of this is that my thought process here is to sit around here and to delete innocent life. It's a very hard situation on this planet to delete innocent life. I don't suggest that. I never would stand for that. I think people need to grow up and deal with their choices that they made. Nobody made you lay down with anybody. Nobody you know, you know, made you be in that situation. You know, it's all types of birth control and things like that out here for everybody, you know, male and female and things like that. And we need to engage in those types of situations if we're going to have these, you know, situations, these sexual situations out of wedlock and stuff like that. Man, I just don't agree with deleting innocent life. You know, they have nothing to do with us as adults in our decisions and things like that. And regardless of whether people like it or not, I don't care whether you like it or not, they don't have nothing to do with our decisions as grown people when we decide to lay down and have, you know, intimacy with each other.
What the French toast is there to
They don't have nothing to do with that. You know, and accountability definitely needs to start being had more and more on this planet. It's an issue in the 21st century where it was not an issue all these thousands of years. Now all of a sudden accountability is a huge fucking problem out here. It's a huge problem, you know, definitely amongst the women. And, you know, because men, we always being held accountable, regardless, you know, even if the poo putt men or the simps or whatever, they're still held accountable, period. You know, this is wild right here. I don't suggest this, but, you know, this is where we at right here. And this is the huge problem that we cannot, you know, seem to get these women's mindsets in line about, you know, when you have these responsibilities and things like that, and you lay down and you choose to have these children and stuff like that without any real community or backing and things like that, you know, say, yeah, it's going to pose a problem for you. It's going to pose a problem. That's the reason why everybody need to be strategical about when they have children, when they're trying to build families and stuff like that. When you're trying to build anything, you have to be strategical about building it. That goes for a building that, you know, the Empire State Building, they had to be strategical about that and make sure that they build it properly or else it will fall. You know, so that's in everybody's life. When you're making moves and you're trying to build families and other things and stuff like that, you know, you have to be strategical. But see, this is what's going on here. We're at this point right here to where everybody's, you know, just out here free willing it. And then on the back end, it's like, well, I have nobody to help me. I have no community. I have no backing, stuff like that, because there's no community being built. And this is the sad part, but I don't agree with any type of deletion of innocent life. I don't. Because it's your responsibility as you're supposed to be a responsible adult, you know, and these are adults. I'm not talking about anything out the way, stuff like that. So don't get down in the comments talking about, I'm talking about some other stuff with the R word and all that. That's a whole nother scenario. I'm talking about on the mass reports that are actually the statistical facts that most of us are out here sleeping around without marriages, without structure, without actually having any type of, you know, program put in place to where we can, you know what I'm saying, create real families. And we're just out here damaging and, you know what I'm saying, you know, just, you know, free willing and things. And that's the problem. And these children, these innocent children are growing up in a society to where we're not teaching them anything except for the crying game.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.